Welcome back, beginner engravers. Let's talk about magnification. We're going to talk about cheap magnification that you can get and work our way up to more expensive, how to find a microscope, what to look for, and different links and resources to learn more. As usual, you can find links in the description below for anything I'm going to talk about if I can find a link for it online. All right, let's get started. So you just started engraving, or you want to start engraving, and you haven't bought gear yet, and maybe you're on a budget. Let's look at what you need. One of the first things you're going to need is a magnifying for sharpening. You need to be able to inspect the end of your gravers after you sharpen them. Most people use a jeweler's loupe for that. These are about $10. They don't have to be expensive or fancy. They go on your eye. They're usually about 10x magnification. This one is 10x. And this will allow you to inspect the ends of your graver to see how sharp you've gotten it and whether or not you've cleaned up those edges. It is amazing how big a difference it makes, instead of trying to do it with your naked eye, to be able to see those little pits and nicks in the end of your graver. So you're going to need at least 10x magnification for checking your gravers after you sharpen them. Now, if you're going to get a microscope anyway, you can kind of skip this step and you can use your microscope, but these are so cheap, I love having it around. You don't want to use this for actual engraving though, probably, because the focal length is very close. You would have to have your face like this close to your workpiece, which means you would not have space to work. So for actual engraving, some people do it with their naked eye, and some people do it with magnification of different levels. My work improved immediately every time I improved my magnification. So let's look at the different things that I've used and what's available to you. This is dirt cheap. It's what I used for about a year, and they're fantastic. I think they're $20 maybe, roughly, 20 to 30. They have a built-in light here on the top that allows you to illuminate your workpiece. It just takes AAA batteries, fits on like glasses, and then the magnification is adjustable. You can put different pieces in. Unfortunately, the maximum magnification you get out of something like this is 4x. So when you're working, for example, if I were engraving on the top of this surface here, it is in focus now, and I'm at 3.5x, so you can see how close I am to it. And that can hurt your back after a while. That's why some people prefer microscopes. We'll get to that later. Let's do this sideways so you can see how close I have to be. If I'm trying to read the batteries on this remote, I have to be this close, which doesn't leave a lot of space for your hand for your actual work. Okay, so let's move up a little bit. These were nice. I like them a lot. The downfall is this nose piece, after a while, the weight really starts to hurt on your nose. It can cause headaches. And I don't know about other people, but for me, bent over like this, working for long amounts of time, after a while, they started to slide down. And I don't know if it was sweat or what, but they would just keep sliding down. But I really liked these, even though they were a bit of a hassle, mostly because of the price. That's what carried me until I decided I was in this far enough that I wanted some more equipment. Now, I also picked these up. These are a little bit more expensive, and they have some benefits over these dirt cheap ones. These have, the major benefit is that they have the visor that goes over your whole head and then clicks to tighten down on the back, which means as you move your head around, you're not getting that sliding. There's no pressure on your nose. And you can see here, they have a similar system here where you can replace these pieces here. I don't want to break it. It just snaps out. You can replace these pieces here with different amounts of magnification, and it has this added one that can drop down. So this could actually serve the purpose of that jeweler's loupe for you. You wouldn't have to get a separate piece. This is a little more expensive. It's got a light too. I believe this was closer to $30. You can find on the link below to get the exact price for these. This was actually really nice, but the downside is that it's very bulky. You have this big thing out here in front of your head, And sometimes it's hard to engrave with all of this junk out here and getting in the way of your hands. But it was a good option for starting. Link to that down below. Now moving up from that, at some point you're going to want to get a microscope. And you're going to probably end up looking around Amazon and not knowing exactly what to look for and seeing so many options that you want to give up. I did a ton of research. I looked at what was out there. I looked at my budget. I couldn't afford the ones that most of the professional hand engravers out there recommended. So I ended up finding ones that would work on Amazon for relatively cheap. And we'll go into that. But before we do, one thing you'll notice on Amazon is there's lots of digital ones that's basically a camera with a display. And they have great magnification, but the downside is that you don't get stereo, you don't get depth. That depth is going to help you a lot. When you're placing your engraver onto your workpiece, you can end up kind of scratching the surface if you can't see that depth very well, which may not be a big deal if you're working on something really hard like steel. Like stainless steel, you know, or titanium. But for example, I'm doing copper plate for printing, and even just laying the tool on it can leave marks that will result in a difference in the print. So that depth is very important. You want stereo. Those digital ones just don't give you that. So what everybody recommends is a stereo microscope. This one here, I believe, was about $400, which in terms of microscopes is pretty cheap. They can go upwards from there a lot to several thousand. This one had a few things that I wanted, that I looked for, and I'm going to tell you what to look for here. One of the first things you'll notice is there's binocular and trinocular. Trinocular means that it has this additional kind of attachment here for a camera. The cameras that go on there are very expensive, but you can buy adapters for this for your DSLRs or for cell phones and stuff like that. For example, I have an adapter here for a DSLR. I slide that in there, I can hook my fancy camera up to this and get footage. You don't necessarily need that. If you don't make videos, there's no reason to spend for the trinocular if you're not doing videos or demos to people. It just doesn't make any sense. You do want binocular though. Now another thing that you want to look for is going to be the field of view lens. You might be tempted to think you need tons and tons of magnification when you're looking for a microscope, but the fact is you don't. What you need is a big fat field of view so you can get your hands in there and it'll be in focus and you have space to work. So what you want to look for is one that comes with a .5 time wide angle lens. So that's going to cut your magnification in half, but it's going to give you a wider angle and a larger focal distance. So for example, this microscope I believe can go up to maybe something like 45 times magnification. With this on, it can only go up to what, 20 something, 22 and a half, something like that. But the fact is, when you're engraving, you're probably not going to be working at that high of a magnification. You're probably going to be closer to like 10x magnification or something. I typically am not zoomed all the way in on this ever. I'll show you some examples of zoom, and you can kind of see for yourself, you know, what that offers. Now, one thing that I see a lot of people get mixed up about is whether or not they can wear glasses, whether or not they can, you know, get their face up to the microscope. You'll notice that you don't put your eyes all the way against the microscope. You keep them back a bit, and it's really awkward at first. It feels really weird. But once you get used to it, it's very nice. You could wear glasses and use your microscope, though you shouldn't have to. You should be able to focus the microscope itself to adjust for your sight. But you just hold your face a little bit back, and once you get used to it, you'll be able to see and move your head around a little bit to see that field of view. Now, when you're looking for a microscope, of course, you probably want one with a base. This one I got with this adjustable base that works very well. An arm would be even better, but arms are very expensive. And a ring light is super helpful. This one came with a ring light, and it's been fantastic. When it comes to illuminating your work, you know, having that light on the microscope itself is ideal. Let's jump into a little bit of examples of how you use the microscope and compare with the wide angle and without. Get in there. Okay, so this is the typical setup. You can see right here the immediate main advantage is this space here. Now that does mean you're going to have to maybe rearrange your engraving setup if you've been doing it up on a table surface, because you really have to get this gap here. That's how, you know, just how it's set up. And you are going to sit upright with your eyes about here. Now this is so much more comfortable when you're engraving, and so much easier on your back as you're sitting upright. Right now, in order to get a good camera angle, I'm at a bit of an awkward position. But normally I'm pretty upright, and I can adjust my chair so that it's, there we go. So this would be a comfortable position. I could sit like this for quite some time without my back starting to ache. And then I have fantastic magnification here, the ability to work, and plenty of space to work in here. Now, let me switch and show you the view from inside here so you can see what I see and what the difference is with and without that wide angle magnification. This is the view through the trinocular part of the microscope, and we can see here, this is what I see when I'm engraving. My stand isn't super sturdy here for this example. And just for example here, this is a mechanical pencil lead, so you can see quite the amount of magnification here that we're doing. And this is probably only about 5-time magnification. I don't really have a way to know exactly what it is, but it's not a ton. For example, we can zoom in. So this is full magnification, which with this wide angle lens would be about 22x. And just for example, here is that pencil lead again. So you can see you don't typically work that far in. You would work probably, you know, much further out, something like that. Because, well, let me just show you. This graver tip is going to be massive at this size and slightly out of focus. My lens must be dirty, because I don't see that through my eyepiece when I look into the microscope. That kind of blurriness there, that's just on the DSLR right now. So I just need to clean something, but I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. I'm just looking at this right here. You can see how huge that graver is. And so then if we zoomed in, you know, all the way down here, you could be putting in lines that are just absolutely tiny with this graver. Now again, I have stereo vision, so I can tell how close I am to that surface and whether or not I'm touching it. But if you were just doing a digital one, you wouldn't be able to see that, how close you were. It's doable, you could do it, but it just wouldn't be great. Now let's look at it without the wide angle and compare what the differences are. Okay, here we have it factory with the normal lens that comes on it, which is actually a 2-time magnification. This is fully zoomed out. It's a little shaky because my hand is holding it in place here. That's zoomed out. Let's zoom in a little bit and see what we got. Oh, my hand is so shaky right now here. So you can see that's kind of unusable. I'll show you from the side how close I have to be here. I'm within maybe an inch from the lens. There's no space for your hand and the graver. So that's why that wide angle lens is so important. For comparison, here's the focal distance for working with the wide angle lens, so you can really get in here and work. And then with the standard lens that comes on it, if you just bought one without a wide angle lens, I was holding this right there to get it to focus. So you can see there's really no space to get up in here and work and try to engrave. And that's why that wide angle lens is so important. It gives you this much of a work envelope to get your hands in here and work. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Some more resources you can look into to learn more would be to go to the forum Engravers Cafe. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. There you can learn from the pros what equipment they use, what equipment they recommend. What you'll find is a lot of them are using very high quality materials because they're doing very high quality work. And I like to start cheap and work my way up to see if I'm even going to stick with it, or, you know, etc. Of course, cheap in hand engraving is a relative term. All right, I'll see you next time.